I didn't think so. Yeah. For this one. Yeah.
He'll be here.
We good? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. You don't have to be so quiet. It is 5:30, and we'd like to get started on our work session for February 1st, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we do roll call, please?
Commissioner Hewitt,
Here.
Vice Mayor Suey, Commissioner Romanek,
Here.
Commissioner McQuaid,
Here.
Mayor Orndorff.
Here. And if anybody could stand, we'll do the salute to the flag, please.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Clerk, has there been any changes to the agenda?
There have been, we had the addition of a presentation by Steve Durst of Synergy. We also added a resolution to enter it into a closed session, but that has actually been removed as of today, and that will be rescheduled for the next meeting on February 15th.
Thank you. Mr. Durst, if you would like to take the podium and present your ideas. You've got music coming to the podium.
Hey, that's because we're special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioners,
I don't know if that mic's on. Can we double check real quick? I'm sorry. Oh, it is.
it's okay?
Yes.
Appreciate the opportunity to be before you this evening. And I have a very brief and conceptually vague but broad concept that I wanted to present to you to basically have you reflect upon it. And if we get invited back and you want more specifics, we'd like to come back. But Pastor Myers reached out to me several months ago and indicated that there were interested citizens of Millville, both business and in his line of work, shall we say, various church groups, that had an interest in revitalizing the city, realizing that Millville and lots of towns of this size and ilk are in tough times and need to find new sources of revenue and new vitality. And my response was, sure, if conceptually it's something that I think can get some traction. And as an aside, I mentioned to him that retail commercial, which I've been involved with for 50 years, is toast in the United States. It is over. We have a common malady in Millville. We have a Walmart and we have the internet. And between the two forces, we have 40% and rising every day of retail sales are being done in that fashion. And it's killing Main Street in every town between 30 and 100,000 people in the United States. So the bottom line was I did not believe that simply revitalizing small town stores downtown, 1,500, 2,000 foot stores, was going to provide the attraction necessary. And we need people, we need visitors. I think most of you are familiar with a town called New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, all of our lives have, once a year, taken a day or a weekend and gone to New Hope for the various attractions. And we could be another New Hope, only better. We have more going for us to start with. And people drive 30, 40, 50 miles to that destination. The key is to be unique and have something that no one else has. We have a fabulous airport, hot air balloons, biplane rides, P-51 rides, all sorts of different things can emanate from the use of that airport. We have a beautiful national certified historic scenic river, river cruises, dinner cruises, kayaking, canoeing, tubing, all sorts of different activities. We have the Lavoie Theater already in place. So we've got assets here that we can build on. And you take the typical family that's not the DuPonts sitting around on a Friday and looking at one another and saying, you know, what do you want to do tonight or tomorrow with the kids? And if you want to go to a Flyers game or you want to go to a Phillies game or you want to go to the Eagles, you're going to spend $400 and $500 for 2 kids, a husband and a wife. And the idea is if we could bring these folks here with a whole day or a weekend of activities, build a campground, different levels of camping, everything from roughing it for the real campers on up to small cottages or like B&Bs. But if we provided these things to jumpstart this as a destination for recreational and sporting events, then I think we'd have a shot. I'll represent to you that if we're involved, my company and allies, that the city will never be called upon to spend a dime. We will finance everything that gets done and approved by you 100%. So the bottom line is we're interested in a very broad brush approach. I think you know that my company, Synergy, does solar development. We're presently involved with the school board with 2 of the schools. We would suggest that we develop all of the schools. In that blue folder, when you have a chance, when you're relaxed, take a look at the spreadsheet. You'll notice that I've circled in our Solar for 40 plan, we can save the school board $69 million over a 40-year period, about $1.7 million a year, beginning in a year. So the bottom line is that would be synergistic with the implementation of the recreational and sporting activities that we would suggest. So simply put, I wanted to take your temperature on that conceptual approach. There's no retail involved until later in the game. Pastor Myers has a very coherent and thorough plan for the revitalization of everything in the core area downtown. But I think first and foremost, we would invest the money to bring the visitors here, to bring the flow of visitors here, that we could then develop a small retail to serve those visitors. And that's it. That's the nuts and bolts of it. I'm not asking for yeses, nos, votes, or anything of the sort. It's an idea. And I'd like you to reflect upon it and comment on it, what you do like, what you don't like. And if there's a consensus that we ought to give this a try, we'll spend the money, we'll spend the energy, and we'll embark on that path. Richard, did you want to?
Yeah, just a couple of things. We have an idea that we will use existing facilities that are already here. We already have the racetrack, we already have the Field of Dreams, we already have Wheaton, we have the river, and we know that the foundation of everything for downtown would center around the people that we could bring in. We were talking about it today, about the demographics of the downtown. We would determine what should go downtown in the redevelopment, rebuilding process based on who we bring in. We have a lot of sporting facilities around here. We have baseball fields and football fields. So we could tap into some of that high school, college sports level, the traveling teams and everything, which would start bringing the people into the city. And as we develop the demographics, that would automatically tell us what we wanted to do downtown. We're using a zone effect, and that's different areas would represent different areas for the city. And the people could come, spend the weekend here, and on the evenings when they're not doing this or that, they're walking in the downtown area. We have already talked to police departments and everybody else to make sure that they're on board so that if we do this, and if you're in agreement with us, people can come here feeling safe. and know that if they're walking the streets, they'll get home that night. Okay?
Thanks for the time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming and speaking.
Sure.
Any comments or questions or concerns or?
And we do have a specific plan that we'll give to you as we start developing the whole thing.
I just have two questions. First, we have a spreadsheet here concerning the school systems. We do realize in this discussion that the commission doesn't make decisions or entertain suggestions for the Board of Education, correct?
Do we realize that? We do realize that, and we have to realize something else also. Same taxpayers that sit out here, that are suffering like taxpayers.
Can you speak in the
all over
podium?
United
You need to
States.
speak in the podium.
Can't
Yeah.
hear me?
Well, it can't be
It
recorded.
has to
You're,
be recorded.
People that are watching this won't be able to hear you.
The taxpayers are less interested in that division of responsibilities than seemingly the politicians. It's got the same taxpayer that's paying for the civic costs, police and so forth, is paying for the schools.
Yep.
The bottom line is that the schools could use the $700,000 a year initially, up to $1.7 million in savings. We could use the tax shelter from the tax equity side of that deal. I'm talking about doing something comprehensive, not in a niche, okay? So I realize the separation of powers. By the same token, that would be necessary for us to move ahead, that we do the alternative energy for the schools.
Okay, well, what I would suggest on that is you need to also reach out to the Board of Education.
We would do that. We understand the
Schedule a
processes.
little bit something
Sure.
with them.
I'm not appearing before you asking you to make a
No,
decision.
no, no, I'm
for-
just being
for
upfront
them.
with things that we can't.
We agree.
We're not gonna
We
be-
agree and
yeah.
we understand.
Okay, PD safety. You didn't talk to our police department, I don't take it.
Yes, I did.
When was that?
Probably in December.
Okay, so we'll,
Before you all were.
Yes,
installed.
okay.
Yes, I met with the chief personally.
okay. I'll touch base with the chief.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. And that was before you all were.
Yes, understand, that's why I, posed that question, because I am public safety. Yes, okay. Other than that, if anybody has any questions, this was vague, I understand it was vague. It's it's the first step. So I'll pass it on to anybody else that would have questions.
I think that, there's probably a lot of questions to be asked, but it's a very conceptual, like you said, it's a very conceptual idea. I think that if you can bring us a little bit more information, it's solar, where is it going to go? How do we know that we can even tap into it, and all of the information that we would need to.
We'll get specific. For tonight, I didn't want to get thrown out of the room. I have my eyes on this gentleman here. But
Understandable, but, I'm listening.
things have changed now. You're up there. But in any event, we will bring specifics. ACE will be a key element in our ability to go forward with this, not just from a solar component, but from development period, and in their cooperation with the efforts started by Joe D. and Jerry Velasquez to get them to step up in terms of their infrastructure. Great strides have been made there. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but we'll get specific and give you things you can get your teeth into.
And one-
Absolutely, that would obviously be helpful to just because it's like it sounds great, but I don't really know what we're talking about. So more information would be helpful for I think all of us and even
Absolutely.
just people
We'll-
here sitting and
We'll focus
wondering.
on the first elements, okay, that we hit on tonight, namely the river and New Jersey Motorsports Park. Chris Anderson, who worked with me at Goodman's, owns BMX Motocross now. We have levels of cooperation already committed for these various aspects. Brad Harris is very interested in being the point of embarkation for the activities on the river, the Harris properties. So we've been quietly working, but we'll be back to you with specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate. I think Bob, did you have a
The
question?
solar panels that are already on the school, like at Lakeside, are you already operating them, or is
No,
that a different vendor?
That was not it was a different
Okay, 'cause
vendor.
I know that, because I'm from the board, and I know that we had issues with those solar panels because they had a contract with them where our maintenance guys would fix the solar panels, And unfortunately, our maintenance guys are not, well, they're maintenance guys now, are not trained for solar panels. So that's why I was just curious, because we had some issues with them. So if you're gonna take over with them and you're gonna you're maintaining the solar panels and everything?
In addition to Synergy, we began a company 18 months ago, Steve Trumbo, my partner, and I, and he's been here many times, called Solar Guardians, to address just what you're talking about. There's been so much loose-ended behavior on the front end of the solar industry that we're busy doing nothing but maintaining and repairing installations previously done. So if you can give me a chat, we can come down and take a look at that without any cost. And if you'll tell me who the vendor is, then we can do something about getting it operable the way it should be.
Yeah, because Tony Trundone and Mike Beatty are the ones that, at the board, that handle that, along with Richard Davis. But there were some issues with our panels that were up there, and actually some of them blew off, and they had to
Okay.
redo the contract.
How long
I
has
know we
that
had to redo
been,
the
how long
contract.
has that been on Lakeside School, that installation?
I hate to interrupt, but I think we're getting a little bit off topic. This is definitely a conversation for the Board of Ed. Thank you.
One final thing, if I may,
No, just
Madam Mayor.
trying to find out.
No, I understand, but I just want to keep it on topic.
I do feel I need to put on the record, we are moving. This commission is moving. This commission is moving. We are talking with developers. I personally, and I don't think any commissioner up here, is going to entertain anything touching some of our ground in Millville. Now, I won't make that public to you, but I'm just letting you know, we are moving in this first month. And we are entertaining people, we are having discussion. We're not gonna step on toes, so. But you're welcome to touch base with, the powers to be and bring a little bit more specific, leaving out, please, the Board of Education, and we'll move on from there. And I'd like to thank you for coming.
Again, thank you both for presenting. We appreciate it and looking forward to more information. At this time, we're going to move into the public comment of this portion of the meeting. So if you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and make your comments, and please limit them to 5 minutes, please. Seeing nobody, I will close the public comment. We just ask that you come up to the podium, please.
Is this agenda items only?
Excuse me, agenda items only. I
This is
said that, I'm
agenda.
sorry.
There's a public portion at the end if this isn't an agenda item.
Okay, that was my apology. This was the agenda items only. Is this pertaining to the agenda items?
Absolutely.
We don't, Jeannie, we
First,
don't
I'd
have
like to
any
welcome
agendas.
everybody. Happy New Year. Congratulations. The question is at hand. There's just one question. At what price are they selling the electric to the city? They said substantial savings. And just for the record, what substantial savings defined as? What's the price?
First, I just need you to state your name, so for the record, we have.
Anthony DeSantis.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, your question is what's the potential savings?
No, not the potential savings. I would like to know what is the rate that they're currently selling the electric to the.
I'm not sure if is that a legit question at the moment when we're not moving forward with the solar of what the rate would be for that project at this moment?
No, it's a past project that was completed. He referred to it earlier.
That's on the Board of Education. That's not, it's not the city.
That's not anything that they have done with the city of
And
Millville.
I understand that.
And what I'm hoping is, we were very generic here. I think they're asking just for us to invite them back with more specifics.
No, that's fine, but in the past, they installed the solar panel. Past performance is exemplary of future performance, where if they're successful in one project, it's going to pave the way for other projects. He had said that there's potential savings. Yes, sir, please. And I'll wrap it up when you, go ahead, answer it.
You okay, Jeannie? Okay.
We did the Millville Wastewater Treatment Plant, I guess about 2013, and the savings average $140,000 to $150,000 a year. The plant has been improved and changed, so it's a bit of a moving target. Based on the original annual cost of 287,000 a year for electric. We reduced that to about 137,000, or about 150,000 a year savings. You can check in your own finance department. They'll verify that. Other than that, we typically represent that we save about 1/3 off the existing electric bill.
That was the question. I think that Mr. DeSantis is asking the rate of the rate.
You'd have to
Is
know,
there-
you'd have to know the bill. In other words, someone would
at
have.
that specific time of
Sure,
when
if
you're.
someone says to me,
Assuming right now, because the average bill in Millville is about 16 cents a kilowatt, are you at 12 cents, are you at 14, are you at 10 and a half?
we would save a minimum of 1/3.
So you're trying to tell us that we'll be here under 10 cents a kilowatt?
I'm not trying to tell you, I'm telling you.
Okay, under 10 cents for the record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any old business?
No, Mayor.
Discussions of commissioners? Mr. Romney?
None, Mayor. Thank you.
Real quick, yes. Our snowstorm. I'm going to visit this quickly. I'll have more to say during the regular meeting. I just want to give right now a big shout out to everybody in Public Works, to our police department, to our fire department, to our rescue squad. Everybody was out working hours upon hours. And they were out yesterday and the day before cleaning things up. And right now, I just want to give them a big shout out. We'll address this a little bit further at the regular meeting at 7 o'clock.
Wade?
I'd just like to say that big handout for our streets and roads. I think they did a pretty well job, meaning the amount of snow that we had. There were no ruts in the road. Yeah, there was complaints that there was still snow on the streets, but we have rubber at the bottom of our plows, and for that reason, it doesn't get everything off. So, but I drove through the city after they were done, and it looked pretty good. I had no problems. So I want to give them thumbs up. Good job.
It was nice to see as much snow as we had. And I think there's a couple people that posted some pictures of the city just snow covered, and it was just really, really cool to see. I really don't have any comments. I really just appreciate everybody coming to the open public meetings, and it's great and to have everybody here. So I appreciate that. And we obviously have more on the agenda for this evening at our 7 o'clock regular meeting. So I'll end it with that. Is there any new business?
No, Mayor.
And this would be the public comment portion. I do apologize for previously. We now reach that portion, and if anyone would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name, address, and your concerns, and please, again, limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes. Okay, seeing nobody, I will close the public comment portion of this meeting. Any other comments from our commissioners? This evening? All right. Well, this was another great session. I'm glad to hear people come out and hear people's, advice and ideas for the city. We're looking forward to hearing more of them. I think that's all we have for this evening. And if everybody would like to come out for our 7 o'clock meeting, we hope to see everybody then. But do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion